Go ahead, Greg.
Okay, so if we're ready, I'm going to call our meeting to order. Today's May 12th, 2020. This is a business meeting of the North Kingstown School Committee. And again, pursuant to Executive Order 20-25 issued by the Governor as it has been amended, this meeting is being conducted virtually due to the current state of emergency in the state of Rhode Island, town of North Kingstown. So I will start by asking everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And if I could have Mrs. Healy, if you could please call the roll.
Mrs. Blackburg?
Here.
Mr. Jones?
Here.
Mrs. Hodgson?
Here.
Mrs. Hildebrand?
Here.
Mr. Mather?
Here.
Mrs. Schott?
Here.
And Student Representatives Joe Bento and Ann Atchell. Thanks.
Okay. Next, for presentations and recognitions, Dr. O'Shea, I think you mentioned you might have some.
We have just a couple of recognitions. Mrs. King, you want to go first?
Yes. So, first of all, we would like to recognize Dr. Howard Silversmith from East Greenwich, who is our physician consultant. He provides services for our standing orders as well as supporting our school nurses or administrators that have various questions about the health and well-being of our North Kingstown students. He reached out to us this morning and let us know that he's not going to bill us for the FY20 school year, and had hoped that we will put that amount of money toward needed PPE, personal protective equipment, as we go forward, and that's to the tune of $2,000. So we'd really like to thank Dr. Silversmith and his support. We've had a lot of positive feedback from the nurses on his consultative services for the district, so we thank him very much for that.
We make sure we send a very nice letter.
Already on the way.
Yep. And then from my side for recognition, so I would like to just recognize some of our departments that provide the back office functions. I know that, clearly our teachers and our TAs are out there with our kids, and it's such an important role. We have a lot of back office support that's helping these teachers provide the services they can provide. So I did attend the food service distribution this past Friday. I was there with Dr. O'Shea. I had not had an opportunity to attend that before. Boy, what an operation Chris Pauley, our food service manager, has going. I can't even tell you, I was just blown away at what a great machine that was, and I enjoyed, seeing the people come up, and interacting with the people. It was a really good operation. So thank you very much to the food service department and Chris Pauley. I would like to also thank the maintenance department. So our crew is really, really taking the opportunity to do everything they can to increase the curb appeal inside and outside of our schools. I'm continually getting photos from our facility supervisor, Steve Gently. There's a lot of painting going on. There's going to be a lot of grounds work going on. So once we get back into our buildings, they're going to look super. I mean, our buildings are in good shape because of the money that the school committee has committed to them and because of our maintenance crew. But I think the principals and everybody are going to be blown away with the stuff that we're getting done. The business office, that's payroll and payables. Payroll is still moving along. So I thank them under the leadership of Steve Janelle and Stephanie Russo. And payables are still moving, so we're able to, pay the vendors and keep our vendors going for the services and the goods that we need. HR is moving along as well. Answering employee questions. We have open enrollment going on for our benefits coordinator, that's Elisa Jones. Transportation, we know that although we don't have buses on the road right now, they are getting next year's routes prepared. IT department, and you know, I've really enjoyed working with, you know, Denise, Siri and Mike Waterman and Carson, and of course, Dr. Ajay. It's really, things have settled down a bit, even though, you know, we do have a lot of uncertainty ahead. But I think that this time has given us all a new appreciation of each other, no matter what our role is in the district. And I really appreciate the team that we have.
Thank you. And Dr. Manseri, I know you have an item for the seal of biliteracy at the high school.
Yes, I do. I'm very excited. Thank goodness Mark DeLucia, he's the department chair for world languages. He sent us a lovely email this morning to let us know that this year the 2020 recipients are, something just happened. Oh, okay. Sorry, my fingers went out, but okay. So we had 60 students this year, 59 seniors, and 1 freshman will receive the seal at graduation, well, whatever graduation that happens to be, Dr. Day. And that's up from 43 students last year. And of those 60, 56 students they're called foreign language learners, which means they learned to speak another language in our school system. So I'm very proud of all of our teachers there in the district and what they've done. And Mark really was one of the first people to get North Kingstown High School involved in the seal of biliteracy, and every year it creeps up, and this year 60 is quite the accomplishment. So it was in German, Portuguese, and Spanish were the 3 languages, and then also we had somebody in Chinese and Arabic, because you can also be somebody that speaks another language from where you grew up, and then you speak English. So we had 2 of those as well. So thank you. Thank you to Mark DeLucia and all the wonderful work that we're doing at Woodford Middle School and Davisville Middle School and the high school. Appreciate those teachers.
That's it for recognition.
Okay, thank you. Next we have the superintendent's report. So Dr. Jay, I'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah, so I wanted to take a few minutes tonight to talk about, our graduation. We don't have the final plan yet, everyone. I know in the last correspondence I put out to the community, I mentioned that by the middle of May we would have an answer to this. But I do want people to understand that we're working very hard at it. Dr. Morris in particular has been doing unbelievable work, working with our student groups, working with our parent groups. She and I have been in touch with the governor's office, with the Rhode Island Department of Health, and above all, we want this to be 2 things. We want it to be very meaningful for our students, and we want it to be safe. And so we're getting a lot of, advice from those groups. There has been no shortage of emails to us about ideas, and we are certainly doing everything we can, like I said, to make it meaningful and to keep it safe. And so we're hoping to have an announcement in the next week or so. There are still some meetings that we need to have and some questions that we need answered, but we are certainly with all of you and thinking that, no one's forgotten our seniors in all of this. And I also want to send a message to not only the parents of seniors, but the parents of 8th graders and the parents of 5th graders, who at this time of year normally have a really nice promotion ceremony. And there have been also ideas about those kinds of ceremonies and doing things outside and congregating and a lot of that can be pretty problematic when you're dealing with the governor's rules around social distancing. So we're trying to navigate all of that. We're trying to make it so that even the 5th graders and the 8th graders have those meaningful ceremonies somehow presented to them to acknowledge the good work they're doing too. So we hope to have the answers to all of these things in the next week or 2, and as soon as we do, we're going to start with a special announcement that goes directly to the seniors and their parents, and then a few hours later we're going to follow up with the announcement for the whole community. Thank you. You're muted, Mr. Blasball.
I was, sorry. So next, we have citizens' comments. Last last I heard, there weren't any. Mrs. Healy, anything come in late? No, okay. So next we have routine items. So I'd ask a motion to seal the executive session minutes of May 12th, 2020.
So moved.
We have a motion from Ms. Hildebrand
Second.
and a second from Mr. Mather. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Next, I can disclose that no votes were taken in this evening's executive session. On the consent agenda, does anyone have any items they would like to exempt? Hearing none and seeing no waving, I would ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion, Mr. Mather,
Second.
second from Ms. Hoskins. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Next, and I'm not going to jump this time because I did the last two times, I think, we have unfinished business. 2019-20 school budget. Anything to report, Mrs. King?
Nope, nothing.
Okay. And on the 2021 school budget, as I think you folks all know, the town council did approve the final municipal budget. The highlights of that would be that the town council did fund the $400,000 allocation to our capital reserve account. But they did vote to leave it in our capital reserve account as funded, which I thank them very much for, because we have asked for that year after year after year for a dependable funding source. As you know, there was some discussion that next year is not a regular year, and we had some suggestions on additional funding for the school department, which would have been either to transfer that to our operating budget, or in lieu of that, to fund our operating budget $400,000 more than they had originally proposed from another source. The council declined to take up either of those options, which means that we are going to need to revisit our budget to the tune of $400,000 to bring that into balance. We're not prepared to do that quite yet, though we are running out of time, but there are still so many just tremendous unknowns still at this point for the 2020-21 budget. We are going to have to come back and balance that out for the end of the fiscal year, but we're hoping to have some better guidance on state aid and just a whole slew of other things that are going to affect that number before we make any final budget adjustments, but we are going to be looking to do that to balance out with what the town has funded us. And I think that covers everything, Mrs. King. Anything else that I'm missing on that?
No, I think that's accurate.
Okay. Anything on CIP, existing bond or future bond?
Just a quick update, I'm continuing to have my weekly calls on the construction projects. The high school air conditioning project is going to start on Monday. Very, very excited about that. And the Batesville Middle School window project looks like it's going to start on June 5th. Right now, with the estimated time frame for the window delivery of June 19th. And I have a date of June 11th, I believe it was, to do the track at the high school. So we are moving.
Weather permitting, right?
Correct. I actually.
But we're number one in line now, I hope.
Yeah, we're right at the top. So the access road paving was going to happen yesterday, but with the threat of rain, that did not happen. But that is going to happen quickly. And then the June 11th time frame for the track. So we're getting very excited about that. So we are definitely at the top of their list.
Okay, thank you. Just one note, in our report is the personnel report. Now, this is different than the past. As you folks may recall, the General Assembly amended the Rhode Island General Law with respect to the rules and responsibilities, I forget the exact title of it, the duties and responsibilities of the school committee, that we no longer have advice and consent over appointments by the superintendent. So in lieu of that, the administration is providing us with this report, which shows all of the hires that were approved by the superintendent of the district under the authority granted to him by the General Assembly in the amended statute. So that's why that's in there for you. If anyone has any questions, you can reach out to Dr. Auger with respect to those. Other than that, we have reached the end of our agenda, and I would ask for a motion to adjourn. Motion for Mr. Mather. Do I have a second? For Ms. Hoskins, second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you all very much for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.